Welcome to our message of the week. This week, we want to talk about cleanliness, but probably not cleanliness in the way that you're thinking. Naturally, we talk to the kids and we talk about making sure that they don't smell, right? Nobody wants to hang out with anybody that smells bad. We talk about cleaning up your room and picking up your toys. Nobody needs to live like a pig. But today I want to talk about mental cleanliness. And ultimately what that means is just really paying attention to your vocabulary, your words, and your thoughts about what's going on around you as well as yourself. Right? If you hear your child constantly talking negative about themselves, or if you're constantly talking negative to your child, right, there's going to be a real negative mindset that's going to hurt them in the long run, and they're really going to think negative or bad about themselves, and it's going to limit what they're able to do. So what we talk about is we really want to guard what's going into our brains. Growing up, my family was around computers my whole life, and when we programmed and started learning programming language, we learned that the computer can only give us as good information out as we put in. And in computer terms, it's called garbage in, garbage out, right? If I put garbage data into the computer and then I ask it a question, it's going to give me a garbage answer. And I quickly learned that we're no different as human beings. If you constantly have a negative viewpoint of the world, if you're constantly hearing how bad things are and how terrible the planet is and life, if you're watching negative, violent TV shows or video games, or you're reading gossip magazines, or the friends you're around are always gossiping and talking bad about each other, just that whole cycle of negativity is really going to skew what you think of the world around you. So we really want to make sure that we're cleansing our mental state and putting us in a positive mental state as much as possible. Now, that doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect every day all the time. Life has challenges. We know that. But it's how we handle those challenges that define us as a human being. So you really want to start looking at what type of TV shows are your kids watching? What type of video games are they playing? What type of books are they reading? What do they talk about when they're with their friends? If you have that friend and they're just constantly negative 24/7, 365 days a year, no matter what you say, they can find something wrong with it, maybe it's time to get a new friend. We really work hard here at the karate school to surround ourselves with happy people, right? Life is too short to be around grumpy people. And, there's going to be somebody who's coming that's had a bad day, and that's fine. But we're going to make sure that the environment here is always happy and upbeat, and maybe it helps them feel better too. Right? So pay attention to what's going on and what's going in to not only your mental state, but to your child's mental state. And make sure that we always have that positive mental attitude as much as possible, and that we're surrounding ourselves with the best possible events. All right, get to work on that, and I'll talk to you next week.